Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Coding. Today we're gonna take a look at this add-on called Commotion add-on. This is the version 1.7 of this add-on. I've been looking at keeping eyes on this add-on for a while. It's created by Mikhail Rachinskiy, and this is the add-on. You basically download it from GitHub. You just clone and download the zip, and then you do the usual install. There's a video tutorial by himself, but that's for older versions. But it's really still really good. Basically, the add-on allows you to quickly kind of offset animations. And from what I tried the other day, so this is my first look on the add-on. Basically, it can kind of offset animations on the objects, on modifier, shape keys. Also, I think NLA if you are using NLA. But yeah, let's just quickly look at this add-on. I might actually incorporate animation nodes and sphere chalk at some point. Maybe not today, but let's have a look. So let's say you have an animations of the cube. Let's test this on objects with the same kind of animation. So let's say I'll just gonna zero this out. So to make it simpler, keyframe the location and the scaling. And I will go to frame 20 here and just lift it up and then scale it down. Keyframe, keyframe. So you have this animation. Okay, so nothing really special. And then I duplicate it, Shift D, and then just duplicate it to the side by holding middle mouse and then duplicate it many times. So we have multiple objects here, and okay, they're all doing the same thing, but they're kind of like scaling down. That's maybe I shouldn't do that. Let me delete everything. So do it again very quickly. I think I should keyframe just the Z axis. So insert single keyframe on the Z axis and then keyframes on the scale. And then I'll lift this guy up and scale it down. This one is even simpler than before. Still doing the same thing. But then I can duplicate this. And they are all doing the same thing, but they are at different translation, at different exposition. Okay, so let's save this. So commotion first look. All right, let's say you want to offset it, right? If you look at the graph editor, they are all on the same spot. Like the graph is exactly the same. But with the commotion, basically you can select all. This is the original one at the center. Look at the graph. And here with the commotion, I will be doing offset animations. So click on the offset, and you can see the graph slightly moves. Let me offset it a little bit further. There's also threshold. I don't know what it does yet, but let's try what happened now. So they're kind of like slightly shift. So one by one, it's slightly shift, and then there's nothing really. You can save this and then bring it into Blender 2.8, and it will still acting the same. It does nothing else, you know. It's the add-on works, and then if you finish with the add-on, it's everything is there. It's still like the same F curve, etc. There is nothing added. Sometimes it adds like a dry first, and you need to bake it. But in this case, it's just like a shifting the graph, shifting the F curve. So that's pretty cool. By default, it's actually shifting it based on the cursor. So if the cursor on the left, I place the 3D cursors on the left and then offset the animations, it's gonna be doing the animations based on that position. If I put the 3D cursor there and then offset the animation, it's gonna do it from right to left. If I put it in on the center, the 3D cursor, it's also gonna be doing it from the center. So that's if you have like a lot of this object, you can put the 3D cursor at the center there, select all the objects, offset it, and you get that. Okay, and then you can offset this a bit more. So that's you can see the graph there. So of course it's based on the position of the 3D cursor. So that's kind of cool. And I'm kind of wondering if we can actually use different objects with different animations. So let's do that really quick. We have torus, we have, oops, monkey head. Let's try cylinder. Okay, select all, keyframe. Oh, it's keyframing. Okay, just type I here and then keyframe location, rotation, and scale, and then move this guy, rotate it randomly. Select all again, lock rod scale, and again keyframe the lock rod scale. So they are doing a different thing, but they are kind of having F curve at the same place. So kind of wondering if this will work as well. Offset. Yeah, it is actually working. It's pretty cool. And in fact, if let's say we have a monkey head here, and then we select all of this and then select this guy, the one that's active, and then we link or copy the animations. Let's say we copy, it's gonna be on the same spot. We can offset it that way as well. So you can see the monkey kind of doing the same thing. They're gonna be on the same spot. Sometimes you do want this for motion graphic kind of animations, kind of like a repeating shadow. So that's in a nutshell. Basically, you have animations also in a nutshell. You have position A and position B, and then you kind of transition between the two, and then this guy is of course offsetting the animations in time. Okay, so and that's gonna work on the object level, shape key, F curves, NLA. I haven't tried all of them, but shape keys is also kind of interesting. I have not tested, but you have these objects and then you create a shape key. This is the basis. Second one, you kind of maybe you do that, right? And then you duplicate it. When you duplicate an object with shape key, it's gonna have the shape key. And we don't have animation yet, so keyframe animation very quickly. Okay, now select all of them. This guy, the last, copy the animation. Object has no animation. All we need to switch to shape keys. Copy the animation. Now they are doing the same thing. Again, we can offset the animations, and then you can see this guy is doing slight offset depending on the position of the cursor, of course. It's pretty cool. I really like this, and at some point I really need to incorporate animation nodes, but So that's the idea. So we tried the objects and shape keys at a very basic. I haven't tried NLA. I don't use NLA much, but NLA can work, I think, for bones animation maybe. But what's interesting is the down there we have proximity effector. This one behaves more like a kind of like drivers, similar to animation nodes offset. So what is this exactly? So let's give it a quick look. There is also slow parent. I haven't tried this. This one I don't know how this works. Maybe it works with parents. But proximity editor is interesting. So let's say we have a bunch of objects and turn on proximity effector. And then try duplicating this guy. Let's say we have an effector. For an effector, I will use an empty. So this guy is gonna be my animated object, and this guy is gonna be the effector. You can see it's grouped automatically. And let's kind of affect their location, and then increase it in the Z. I don't know if this is gonna work right away. So let's play back the animations and see they have like original position and they kind of offset a little bit. This is also pretty cool because it's kind of live and active. If I'm not wrong, they have some kind of drivers underneath, but this is more like kind of framework in itself. It doesn't have any drivers created, so it's kind of live at this point, and then you need to bake it if you want to save this. So let's save this. So there is this option called trail. If you turn that on, when you go through, it's gonna kind of like save it, kind of like caching it on the fly. So yeah, it doesn't go back to the original. You can turn off caching, turn on trail, and do it again while this playback is running. So now that's working. Turn off the trail. There is also fade, fall off based on this guy. So I think this is gonna work even better if we have more objects. So effector, I don't know. I think you can have multiple effector, and I forgot also to talk about this random multi-offset name. So for now, let's just do this. Turn off trail, move this effector, play around with the radius, see? And there's also fall off. So that's controlling kind of like the contrast kind of. So there you go. You have this kind of effects. And it's not it's good at affecting the location, rotation, and scale. The others I'm not quite sure. I think you can use shape keys, but transformations like location, rotation, scale, of course it can be done. Rotation especially interesting if you want to flip this guy maybe in X 180 degree. So it's gonna flip. So let's stop this for now. Select all these objects and then scale it in Z, S, Z, and then apply the scaling. So now run this. Now this guy is gonna flip. It's gonna flip and go back to original spot. You can also scale it, of course. Scale it down, for example. So it's gonna flip and disappear. Okay, maybe turn off scale for now. Flip, just do the flipping. But it's only seems like it's only doing it between two position, right? It's, I mean, it's flipping in 180, maybe do a 360. If it's 360, it seems to be, we can't really see what's happening because it's only picking the closest angle. 180 is better. That's better for flipping, and then this guy can be off actually. Would be better if they have different color. But that's with the proximity effector. Turn it off, and you can bake it. I forgot to talk about the baking. There is bake and free bake. I want to go back to object, and let's try to actually use animation nodes. So let's save this. Node editor, animation nodes, fair chop. Which one should I use? Actually, let's try fair chop first. Generator, what's a cool thing that we can use? Grid, okay, grid is cool. Hexagonal or polygon grid, okay. And let's use bmesh right away, and then use box. So we're gonna generate a bunch of box arranged in the hexagonal kind of pattern. Oh, it doesn't need to be a box. It can also be hexagon. So circle. Yeah, so that's a hexagon if you give a number 6. Right, so that's hexagon, cool. Now we want to affect this using commotion. They are all already separated, right? So you can actually just delete sphere chop, or you can still keep it, I think. Doesn't matter. Just affect this by scaling, for example. For now, actually, I'm gonna turn off sphere chop, and I will scale one of them. Scale this keyframe, and then zero this out. Keyframe again. Can't really see this guy. Select this. Hold option. Turn on wire. Select all of them. Select this guy last. Copy the animation. Now they are all animating. You want to randomly animate, random offset the animations. So select all of these. Select this. Select random. And offset animation. There you go. It is that simple, and then you can offset the frame. You can randomize the seed. Oh, there's also option to reverse. Okay, try reverse. Okay, or just turn off. Anyway, random is random, and you can randomize the seed. I've done this in the past using sphere chalk actually. Cool. All right, that's one way. You can also use multi-offset. So this one slightly different. Multi-offset is similar to the effector. So you have multiple objects, and this will kind of control all of this. You can have multiple. So 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the effector, and this guy is going to be the animated objects. Offset animations. Let's see what happened. If we offset, oops, it crashes. All right. So maybe that's a sign. Maybe I should just finish right there. But yeah, so the idea is that you have multiple objects, and then you want to do some kind of fancy animations. Let's actually do one more thing with animation nodes this time. Save as commotion. Well, I didn't really save any blend, but let's use a donuts this time and instance this guy. Select the donut. Okay, don't worry. Matrix output. So objects, matrix is gonna be distribute matrix, matrices, and use grid. This is gonna be a, let's do 10 by 10 by 10. Go nuts. And of course, we need to do that. Or maybe that's too many. 5 by 5 by 5. 125 donuts. They're instance objects, and I believe it should just work. I didn't do anything else. It's just a copy of instance, kind of like array modifier. And commotion, let's do this. It shouldn't crash. So let's just use two objects. And this guy, I will scale it down, right? Select scale. Oh, I cannot scale it because of this guy. All right, I have to turn off animation nodes for now then. Turn off. So I can scale it now. Scale it down to 0.1. So one object is scaling down. Cool. Select this. Copy the animation. Yeah. All right. And select this guy, and this will be multi-offset. So this guy is gonna, the empty is gonna be the effector, and the animation is gonna be coming into. We're gonna affect the animation of the instance. Save it. Offset anim didn't crash. Oh, all right. Oh, that's why it crashes. It doesn't have metric. Interesting. Instance object doesn't have matrices or something. But it should work with a random, for example. Offset. See, random works. Maybe it is a bug. See, because it works with this guy, but yeah, maybe we can do that if we use a real object and then tap U, unlink instances, delete everything from animation nodes. So we are not using animation nodes anymore. These guys should be separated, but they are still parented. It's okay. Let's animate one. Scale down. Just save this just in case it crashes. And select all of this guy. Copy the animation. Let's offset it now using the effector. To position. Multi-offset. That's the effector. That's the animated. Offset. See, that's working. That's working. That's cool. Frame offset. Okay, that's a bug. Anyhow, so I didn't do anything wrong. So that's basically what commotion add-on is. I haven't played around with the parenting. Maybe in the future I will try to make something that's a little bit more elaborate. That's kind of simple what we've been doing, but hopefully this is useful. Let me know what you think. I will definitely look at this add-on again because it's kind of like it's behaving more or less just nodes, just like nodes. And with animation nodes, you have, of course, offset vector, offset matrices. It's doing similar thing to the proximity. But yeah, it's really, really cool add-on. It's useful for if you are animating a lot of objects and you want to just offset them, it creates this kind of cool effects. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.